Hello everyone, and welcome to my B&B Fan Club channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The afternoon sun flowed through Forrester Creations skylights, illuminating the store in mellow gold. The air buzzed faintly with the sound of sewing machines and designers discussing fabric swatches, but Hope Logan sat perfectly still in her corner office. The hands were clutched together on the edge of the desk, her knuckles white and her gaze unfocused. She'd been staring at the same pattern sketch for about 20 minutes, not seeing a single line. Her phone was set to silent, but she could still feel the vibration even though no message had been received. It had been 3 hours since her previous altercation with Liam. 3 hours had passed since she walked out of the cabin and left him standing in the doorway, perplexed, furious and angry, a familiar mix she'd seen all too frequently lately. Every talk between them seemed to spiral back into the same claustrophobic cycle. Trust, forgiveness, jealousy, and Steffi. Always Steffi. The knock on the door was soft and tentative. Hope raised her eyes, her heart pounding. "If it's about the fitting, just give me 5 more minutes," she said immediately. The door slowly opened, but it was not a designer who entered. It was Sheila Carter. Hope paused for a split second, her brain straining to process what she was seeing. Sheila, dangerous, unwelcome, and unpredictable, stood in Forrester Creations as if she belonged. "Sheila," Hope whispered. "What are you doing here?" Sheila smiled, but it wasn't comforting. "Relax, sweetheart," she replied, her voice full of faux calm. "I am not here to make trouble. I just needed a quick conversation, woman to woman." Hope stood, instinctively placing her desk between them. "You should not be here." "Security." "Oh, they're busy downstairs," Sheila explained calmly. "Don't worry. I'm not here to harm anyone. I just wanted to tell you something." 7 words, to be exact. Hope frowned. 7 words. Sheila's smile broadened, almost joyous. "Yes, 7 words that you should hear. And when you do, everything will make sense." Hope's gut tightened. "Whatever you think you know." "Shoo." Sheila raised a finger. "You might want to sit down for this." Despite her better judgment, Hope did. Maybe it was curiosity or tiredness. Maybe she knew Sheila had a way of getting past people's defenses with her odd snake-like appeal. Either way, she remained motionless as Sheila leaned forward. "Sheila," Hope started slowly, "if this is about Finn or Steffi—" "It's not about them," Sheila interrupted, her tone intensifying. "It is about you. And Liam. And the truth you've been pretending to ignore." Hope's throat clenched. "What truth?" Sheila took a step forward. Her eyes glowed with sadistic satisfaction. "Liam has never stopped loving Steffi. Not for a second." The words hung in the air, 7 of them as sharp as glass. Hope blinked, unable to process them immediately. She opened her mouth to respond, but no sound emerged. The room suddenly felt too small, and the air was too thin. Sheila bent her head, examining her reaction like a scientist watching an experiment. "You already knew that, right?" she whispered. "You have known for months. But you kept hoping he'd choose you fully. Hoping that this time he'd finally stop running back to her whenever things got tough." "Stop," Hope said quietly. But Sheila did not. "He has been telling Steffi things behind your back. Making promises he cannot keep. He loves being your hero, but he will never stop wanting her." Hope's eyes welled up with hot, unbidden tears. "Why are you telling me this? What are you getting out of it?" Sheila smirked. "Let's just say I enjoy watching people wake up. It's astonishing how much harm denial can cause." Before Hope could respond, Sheila turned on her heel and strolled out, just as elegantly as she'd arrived, leaving a faint whiff of costly perfume and disarray behind her. Hope sat for a long time after the door closed, her heart beating in her ears. The 7 words rang out so many times that she could barely breathe. Liam has never stopped loving Steffi. Not for a single second. She wanted to dismiss it as manipulation, another of Sheila's sick games. But deep down she knew it wasn't a lie. Sheila hadn't told her anything that she hadn't previously sensed bubbling beneath the surface of her marriage. When Hope finally arose, her hands trembled. She picked up her phone and focused on Liam's name on the screen. Her thumb hovered above the call button, but she did not click it. Instead, she strolled out of the office, past the astonished assistants, and down the hallway to Carter's desk. Carter Walton glanced up from his laptop as she arrived. He smiled, that simple, grounded smile that always seemed to calm her. "Hello, Hope. You okay? You look? Do you have a minute?" she inquired, her voice hardly steady. "Of course." With concern in his eyes, he motioned for her to sit. "What is going on?" Hope drew a big breath. The words came out before she had time to think about them. Carter blinked, astonished but not completely shocked. "What happened?" "Sheila occurred," Hope said bitterly. "But honestly, it's not only her. It is everything. It has been building for months, if not years. I keep trying to believe in something that doesn't exist anymore." "I can't keep pretending," Carter said, her expression softening. "I apologize, Hope. You don't deserve that kind of pain," she replied calmly. "And I'm done with it." They sat silently for quite some time. Hope could feel the weight of her decision pushing down, but underneath it was something else. Lightness. Freedom. Like the first breath after being submerged for so long. Carter leant forward slightly. "Do you need to talk to someone? Or maybe just to listen?" Hope met his gaze. There was warmth, protection, and something she hadn't experienced in a long time. Genuine respect. "I do," she replied gently. "I really do." Hours later, after an emotional, soul-bearing chat, Hope found herself standing outside the Forrester building, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. Carter offered to drive her home, but she declined. She needed to walk, to think. The night air felt cool on her skin, and as she moved through it, something within her began to shift. She reflected on all the years she'd spent trying to work things right with Liam. All the time she'd been patient, understanding, and forgiving. And for what? For a man who had one foot in her life and one in another's? For promises that collapsed whenever the past came calling? No more. Her phone rang and she almost didn't answer. However, when she saw Liam's name again, she sighed and picked up. "Liam, what do you want?" "Hope, we need to talk," he said quickly. "I heard Sheila was in Forrester today. Are you okay? Did she hurt you?" "No, Liam," Hope replied, her tone bland. "She did not hurt me. She told me the truth." There was a pause. "What truth?" "You never stopped loving Steffi." Liam inhaled sharply. "I hope you're going to believe Sheila Carter over me?" "I don't have to trust her," Hope replied gently. "I already knew. I had always known. I simply didn't want to confront it." "Hope, that's not fair." "What's not fair?" she spat. "Is you asking me to keep pretending that I'm the only woman you love when you've been emotionally living with two." He remained silent for quite some time. When he finally spoke, his tone was quiet and almost plaintive. "Hope, please. Do not do this. We can fix it." "No, Liam," she said, her voice calm and determined. "We can't." She hung up. By the next morning, Hope felt surprisingly clear. She went about her day, drinking coffee, attending meetings and designing, but everything seemed lighter. The bonds of expectation had fallen away. People glanced at her with interest. There was a new firmness in her tone, a quiet assurance that they had not noticed before. That afternoon, Carter returned to her office. "How are you holding up?" he inquired kindly. "I'm better," she admits. Carter smiled and said, "I did something I should have done a long time ago. I'm proud of you." Hope paused for a while, taking in his warm eyes and honest voice. "Carter," she began abruptly, "you have always been there for me, even though I didn't deserve it, even when I couldn't see what was directly in front of me." He laughed softly. "You don't owe me anything, Hope." "Maybe not," she replies. "But maybe I want to." He blinked, taken off guard. "What do you mean?" Hope stood, taking a step forward. "I mean," she explained gently, "that I'm tired of waiting for the appropriate moment. I'm weary of having fear dictate my decisions. I want to start over." "Hope," he added, his voice low and hesitant, "you just ended a marriage." "I know," she responded, "but I'm not running from anything. I'm getting into something real." Carter stared at her for a long time, looking for signs of reluctance in her expression. When he discovered none, he exhaled. "Are you certain about this?" Hope smiled. A small, brilliant, courageous smile. "I've never been more sure of anything." What occurred next stunned everyone in Los Angeles. That nightfall, Hope and Carter flew silently from the city to a little church in Aspen, where neither the press nor their families could intrude. It wasn't impulsive for her. It was deliberate. A declaration that she was tired of living in the shadow of other people's decisions. The ceremony was simple. No fancy gowns, no cameras, and no pompous vows. Just Hope in a pale cream dress and Carter in a fitted suit, stood before a minister with the mountain breeze rustling through the pines. When he inquired if she considered this man to be her husband, Hope responded softly but unequivocally, "I do." Carter's eyes glistened as he answered the same, "I do." As they kissed, Hope felt something she hadn't felt in years, serenity. It was not a fairy tale, but it was her own. And for the first time that was sufficient. Back in Los Angeles, the news spread rapidly. Liam was completely caught off guard. Brooke was speechless. Ridge and Steffi couldn't tell whether they were astonished or inspired by Hope's decisiveness. And somewhere out there, Sheila smiled her frightening, knowing smile, like if she just set the final domino into action. But for Hope, the noise was no longer an issue. She and Carter returned home calmly, prepared to face the impending storm together. She expected inquiries, judgment, and murmurs. But she also knew she'd taken the right decision. Not because of Sheila's manipulation, but because those 7 words pushed her to stop lying to herself. Weeks later, as Hope stood beside Carter at a charity dinner, she noticed Liam across the room. Their eyes met briefly. He appeared bewildered, perhaps even remorseful, but she felt thankfulness rather than hatred. He had been a part of her tale, but he no longer shaped it. Carter wrapped an arm around her waist. "Are you okay?" he murmured. She smiled. More than okay. And she was. For the first time in a long time, Hope Logan wasn't chasing after love or holding on to broken promises. She was living it honestly, completely, and boldly. Outside the event, the night sky stretched forever, creating a tapestry of stars over Los Angeles. Sheila's laughing could be heard faintly in the distance, naughty and satisfied. Her 7 words had transformed everything. But the ending belonged to Hope, who had finally written it herself. Sheila Carter stood in the dark light of the Forrester Mansion's living room, her eyes glittering with her trademark combination of hatred and maternal zeal. Hope Logan, her unsuspecting daughter, sat across from her, clutching an untouched glass of wine, her expression one of perplexity and desperation. The air was heavy with the aroma of expensive candles and whispered betrayals. Liam Spencer, Hope's on-again, off-again husband, was nowhere to be found, which was a good thing because Sheila had meticulously planned this little encounter. It was time to drop the bomb. "Hope," Sheila said, moving forward and twisting her crimson lips into a predatory smile. "Liam is fucking your mother." 7 words. Shocking, filthy, and terrible. Hope's glass dropped from her fingers and shattered on the marble floor, symbolizing her disintegrating reality. The room swirled. Brooke Logan, her own mother, is involved with Liam? The man she'd fought for, sobbed for, and shared a life with? Could not be. But Sheila's eyes did not deceive. She took out her phone and swiped to a blurry video of Liam's car parked outside Brooke's cottage, with the 2 of them stumbling out, mouths locked and hands everywhere. Undeniable. Hope rushed from the mansion, tears streaming, to Liam's flat. He opened the door shirtless, smelling of Brooke's perfume. "Hope, baby, what's wrong?" She didn't need to say anything. She smacked the phone into his chest, the video playing on repeat. Liam's face was robbed of color. "It's not what it looks," he stammered, but Hope was finished. "We're over, Liam. For good." She stormed out, slamming the door so hard that the frame splintered. The next morning, Hope awoke in her own bed at the Logan estate, her head pounding and her heart shattered. "Steffi Forrester has texted. Carter is inquiring about you. What about dinner tonight?" Carter Walton. Carter is steady, handsome, and ambitious. The one who had been her rock during the Luna lunacy, and the one who had offered a multifaceted collaboration. No drama, no cheating, and no Spencers. She only wanted power, passion, and the ability to decide her future. By noon, Hope was in Carter's office at Forrester Creations, with the city skyline mocking her through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Carter looked up from his desk, his dark eyes softening at the sight of her tear-stained face. "Hope? What happened?" she asked without hesitation. "Liam cheated. With my mom. I dumped him. And I want to marry you. Now. Carter blinked, his lawyer brain processing at lightning speed. Marry me? Hope, are you sure? This is huge. She crossed the room and sat on his lap in the executive chair, her hands framing his face. I'm sure. No more waiting, no more games. Let's do it today. Vegas. I need this, Carter. We need this. He searched her eyes before grinning, that rare wolfish look that made her knees weak. Vegas it is. Private jet leaves in 2 hours. The flight was a flurry of champagne and secret kisses. Hope's phone rang nonstop. Liam begged, Steffi cheered, and Ridge demanded explanations. She turned it off. Carter's fingers on her thigh kept her anchored, and his whispers promised a new empire. They arrived at McCarran International Airport and were whisked away to a quiet chapel off the strip that celebrities frequented for spontaneous vows. No paparazzi, no Logans, and no Spencers. Only them, an Elvis impersonator officiant, and rings purchased from a 24-hour jeweler. I now pronounce you husband and wife, Elvis drawled, and Carter kissed her as if she were the only woman on the planet. Hope melted into it, and Sheila's words became echoes. This was her decision. Her power move. Back in Los Angeles. The next day the bomb went off. Hope marched into the Forrester boardroom, Carter's hand in hers, wearing a diamond that screamed, irrevocable. The entire room, Ridge, Brooke, Eric, Steffi, and Finn, froze mid-sentence. We're married, Hope stated, her voice strong. Brooke gasped and clutched her pearls. Married? To Carter? After last night with Liam? Save it, Mom, she said. I know everything. Enjoy your sloppy seconds. Liam stormed in, wild-eyed and untidy. Hope, this is insane. You can't marry him. Too late, she said, displaying the ring. I did, and it's done. Chaos ensued. Ridge yelled about family loyalty. Steffi smirked like she'd won the lottery, and Brooke sobbed deeply. But Hope remained steady, Carter by her side, their unified face impenetrable. Sheila watched from the shadows outside, using a hack security feed on her burner phone. Perfect. Her 7 words worked like a charm. Hope was hers now, attached to Carter, who owed Sheila a lot of money for that little video release. The Logans were disintegrating, and Forrester was teetering. Phase 1 is complete. The weeks passed in a blur. Hope and Carter honeymooned in Tuscany, where they sealed their connection through deals and pleasure. Hope returned home and created Hope for the Future 2.0, with Carter as co-CEO. Sales surged and the brand became untouchable. Liam spiraled, drinking at Il Giardino and complaining to anybody who would listen. Brooke hounded him futilely, Ridge iced her out, and Deacon wondered whether he'd gotten away with it. But Sheila was not done. She sneaked into Hope's workplace one night, unannounced. Proud of you, daughter, she cooed. Hope stiffened but did not contact security. What do you want, Sheila? Just to say, you're welcome. Sheila's laughter was like velvet poison. Liam was poison. Carter's your king. And I'm your secret weapon. She paused. Sheila had destroyed her previous life but created a new one. Get out. But, thanks. Sheila departed into the night, scheming step 2. Bringing Deacon into the fold, overthrowing Bill Spencer, and crowning Hope as Queen of Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Liam refused to quit. He cornered Hope during a gala, holding a champagne flute. This marriage is a rebound, you'll come back to me, Hope joked, Carter's arm around her waist. Dream on, Spencer. I'm happier than ever. Was she? Nights alone, doubts crept in. Liam's touch remained in the recollection, and Sheila's words left a scar. Carter was perfect, but was he too perfect? They fought about expanding into Europe one evening after the board meeting ended. Carter's words became heated, and he grasped her wrist too tightly. Hope yanked away, recalling Liam's compassion. I'm sorry, Carter said softly, hugging her close. I love you. She forgave, but the seed had been planted. Sheila noticed it and texted anonymously. Cracks already? Hope deleted it, but paranoia blossomed. She delved further into work, alienating Steffi, who whispered to Ridge about Carter's influence. Brooke tried reconciliation lunches, but Hope shut her down. You betted my husband. We're done. Enter Thomas Forrester, fresh from Europe, with eyes eager for Hope. He cornered her in the design studio. Carter's not right for you. I am. Back off, Thomas. she warned, but his intensity sparked something forbidden. Sheila stoked the fire by bumping into Thomas at a bar. Hope is vulnerable, strike now, Thomas resisted, barely. But during the next design show, as Hope walked the runway in her iconic gown, Carter beaming with pride, Thomas confessed backstage, "I love you. Always have." Hope wavered, then slapped him. "I'm married." But that night, in bed with Carter, she pretended to be excited. The spark faded. Liam plotted revenge, teaming up with Bill. They went into Carter's past, uncovering embezzlement rumors from his pre-Forrester years. A scandal could bring an end to the marriage. Sheila intercepted and warned Carter anonymously. Grateful, he confronted Liam at Spencer Publications. Fists flew and security yanked them apart. Hope arrived enraged. "Grow up, both of you." She hauled Carter home where desire reignited, rough and reclaiming. "You're mine," he hissed, and she bought it.